I found some bubbly.
Okay. We are streaming live.
Oh, okie doke.
Just because I was having trouble getting Facebook Live to stick. So I figured if we just do it and go live, then we're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the broadcast too. And that way our attendees can jump in and join us.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I have to step out one more minute and I'll be right back.
Oh,
that's okay.
I'm going to leave. Hello, everybody. We're going to get started in a minute, but I got to go grab my drink. So I'll be right back.
Oh, good point. We will be getting started right about 3 o'clock. We're just gathering a little early.
All right.
So did you get your drink made?
Yes. Well, I have just this part. We're good.
Okay.
But I'm already at home. When I get home, I have fresh fruit puree and all the stuff. Oh, look at that. Is that pomegranate? What kind is that now?
So it's champagne with
right. What's the berry?
So the berry is grape. And actually it's lemonade.
It's happening.
It looks delicious. I'm not sure the ice is going to stay ice and it's also turning a lovely color. So.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go get my ice.
Okay. Hey, everybody. People are jumping in. We've got Angela. Hi, Ann.
Hey, I'm going to go grab my ice.
Okay. And it looks like people are jumping on. So that's fabulous. And everything's working great. Yep, we're early, everybody. Good. I see Lori. Hi, Lori. Lori and I were conference buddies at my first conference. She's from Connecticut. Did you have a nice vacation?
I did. You're talking to me, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. It's so nice that today is actually the last day of it. And yes.
Well, thank you for joining us on the last day.
Thank you for having me. This is great. I did. Did you have a nice vacation?
I did. I so needed it too. It was so nice to just take some time off and spend it with the family and focus on other stuff. Because, I love my job. I love my business, but it was nice to just kind of step back and do some other things for a while. So
yes, it was nice to do nothing. I watched a lot of TV over the years.
Did you really?
I never did. I actually sat on my couch. I don't ever sit on my couch, like ever. I sat on my couch in my house.
Yeah, I don't think I had family, so I didn't sit on the couch a lot. We played a lot of games.
Oh, what'd you play?
Well, we played, my friend told me about this game called Jackbox, and it's actually a video game. And the way it works is you put it on your Xbox or your Switch or, there's a bunch of different, your computer, a bunch of different ways to play it. And then everybody, you pick a game. And there's a whole bunch of different types of games that you can play. And then everybody they go to the You go to a URL on your cell phone and you type in a code and you put in your name and then everybody pops up on your TV.
What?
And so, yeah, it's like the funnest game. And it was like on sale for $15. We had so much fun. We played all night and it was so fun. There was a game where you had to design a t-shirt and then everybody designed it. So it tells you to draw all these things on your phone. So you're drawing on your phone and then it tells you write down some really fun like taglines. And then what it does is it asks you to match pictures with other people's taglines. So other people's pictures and other people's taglines. And you make a shirt and then everybody votes on the winning shirts. It was so fun.
How fun. It's like collaborative stuff.
Yeah, that's an app. Like that's totally an app. And so we can talk about it on Appy Hour.
I was going to ask you,
totally an app.
Can we talk about that?
We can totally talk about it. We are talking about it. So, okay. So Jim is asking, hi, Jim, is asking about the drink. And the drink today this is our drink.
Woo-hoo.
And it is a champagne. It's really easy to make. It's champagne with ice cubes, frozen fruit juice ice cubes, or frozen fruit. Kathy's going to make frozen
pureed. Mine is
pureed,
pureed strawberries. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm excited.
Work. So I can't have it now. But I'm going to take a photo of mine at home and tweet it out. So,
awesome.
Or I'll tag Liz and Heather so you can see that I indeed at home will have my drink when I get home.
That's fun. And mine, I can't wait because mine's got a little star fruit on it.
Oh, look at that.
I haven't put the ice cubes in there yet because it'll change color as soon as I do.
Wow.
So.
What fruit did you use?
I used passion fruit and I used star fruit.
Okay.
Can Liz hold it up again?
Okay, so I don't have my passion fruit in there yet.
Oh, you haven't put the ice cubes in. Yeah, mine's going to be like champagne slush by the time I drink it, but that's okay. We all can look at it while it's pretty and just know that when
that's what's going to happen to mine. As soon as I put the ice in there, I think it's going to color it because the passion fruit's red.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now
which is kind of tart.
Yeah.
It'll be good. I think it'll be good.
I think so too.
So Jim's asking, can we send the drinks in the emails? And actually we did. So we sent out a newsletter so if you are registered for the Zoom meeting, which you are, you should have gotten a newsletter. If you didn't, email me. But I sent out a newsletter. When did I send it, Liz? Last week?
Last week.
Thursday or Friday. And it did.
Everybody was still kind of like in that Christmas holiday brain.
I think so too.
I wonder if it got sucked into something.
I just looked at the clock. It's Appy Hour. It's Appy Hour.
It is Appy Hour.
Yay.
Welcome, everyone.
Hey, everybody. We have Kathy from LivePlan with us today. We're super excited for today's episode. It's going to be a lot of fun. So really excited to we have a lot of people on today. So that's awesome. We have people joining us on Facebook and people joining us on Zoom. So
that's fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah. So Liz, are you driving? Did we decide that you were going to be the driver of the Appy Hour limousine?
I am. The limousine is off.
All right. Awesome.
And ready to take off. So welcome to Appy Hour, everyone. And it's a new year. It's 2019. And thank goodness I don't have to write checks in a year every year, because that's what used to throw me is whenever the year would change and I would write a check, I would go to write the year and I'd go, oh no, it's wrong.
I used to do the same thing. And I actually did write a check because I'm the treasurer for a not-for-profit and we actually write checks. One of my nonprofits has moved to the 21st century. The other one has not. And so I did it right. And I was like, wow. I was so impressed. I'm like, I actually wrote 2019. So
good. I noticed that one of my clients, I was going through and doing year-end closeout, and it looks like one of them backdated a check. And when they did it, they did that thing where you just write the December date, and then whatever the current year is, Desktop just puts in that year. And so they have some funny checks that are like hanging out in December of 2019. So I was like, I don't think you meant to do that.
That used to happen. I remember one time when I was young, early in my career, and I did it more than once. So I'm not going to lie. I'll fess up. But I think I entered an entire month of data in January of the prior year. Like I did all the processing, not realizing that I was putting in the prior year. did the whole thing. And then running the reports, I'm like, there's no revenue. Where is everything? And I had put all of the dates in incorrectly.
Oh, that's so awful. I'm so sorry.
Well, now I know how to fix it quick because now we know about apps, Liz, right? So then we pull everything on C data, we do a couple of filters, and then bam, we change the date. Easy peasy.
Put it back up.
That's right. So today I would not panic. Back then it was really not fun at all.
I imagine. So, yeah, but this was just a few checks. So boom, boom, switched it. Now it's 2019.
Right.
So we are your host, Heather
We
and
are.
I. So I'm Liz Scott and have a practice in Oklahoma, and we do a lot of QuickBooks everything. So we do QuickBooks training, setup, and support, and then a lot of integrations and focus on e-commerce. And then Heather, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Heather Satterlee, and I have a practice very, very similar to Liz's. I specialize in systems integration, training. I also am doing a lot of consulting related to Zapier, which is an automation app that is a really hot topic lately. So that is what I do most of my day when I'm not wrangling children and dogs and bearded dragons. I am working with clients to help them learn and master accounting technology.
Bearded dragons.
Bearded dragons.
The same. And we've also have Kathy with us today from LivePlan. So she's hanging out with us as we talk about the new year and making sure that we're set to go.
Yep.
So taking charge of your practice in the new year. I mean, right now is the time for a clean slate. So that's what we're doing. We're talking about it's brand new 2019. So things to do to just get started in the right vibe. And then we're going to be doing apps to manage your calendar. I think that this is like one of my favorite segments. I can't wait to share this because Heather and I have different needs, different apps that we use for our calendar invites. So it's going to be fun to be able to explore our differences there.
Definitely. And I want to hear about what other calendar apps people are using and what they love about those scheduling apps, not just calendar apps, they're scheduling.
Apps. Yes. And then we're going to do our toast to LivePlan, and then we'll be able to dive into some details about LivePlan and their new program that they have to offer. So I'm really excited to be able to explore that. And then the funnest thing that we have this month, how you want to share just a little snippet?
So a little snippet is, remember last month, I don't want to give us too much of a spoiler, but do you guys remember last month when we were talking about automating Christmas cards? Does anybody remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, that kind of went a little sideways for me. So I'm going to share how that went a little sideways, and we're going to have our first ever episode of Epic App Fails. Epic App Fails, episode 1, and we're going to do that at the very end.
Oh,
so you have to stick around to learn about the details. And it's funny, not funny, right?
Well, it happens. The truth is that, life happens, and sometimes apps let us down.
They do. Yeah.
So what do you do about it?
Right.
So welcome everyone. And so we're hoping that you like our Facebook and follow us on Twitter, and then join us in our Appy Hour Facebook group. And you can find out more details on our website. So we're happy that you're here.
We are so happy you're here. And we're looking red. Oh, I love that. It's glitter.
It is glitter. I think that we're both like big into glitter.
We are.
It's fun. Yeah. So take charge of your practice in the new year.
Let's do it.
So that has like big meaning to everybody. Everywhere I'm going, I'm hearing New Year's resolutions. And what did you do? And I mean, that's the way that we start off the new year, right? With our glass of champagne and bubbly to toast to everyone to say, do you have a New Year's resolution? And sometimes, you're real excited about yours. And the other years there's like, I'm going to pass.
Right.
I had years where I just say, I'm going to skip this one. But so I went out and I did some really fun statistics about New Year's resolutions. And I put it in order of what I found. And so make or save money was the biggest. And so that's where everybody was like falling in, is they wanted to be able to either manage their money or make more money or manage their money better by saving it, and then get healthier. So joining a gym, diet, all of those things that
eating better.
Oh, eating better. Yes.
Pumping iron.
Did you see Annie's post today on, I think it was Twitter that
Yes,
said,
I did. Sorry. Yes.
What did it say? Did I miss it?
Oh, it was a good one. So it was like,
well, she can't join us today because it's dry January for her.
yeah.
That's not what it said, but it's
She's
dry. Yeah. Dry January and Whole30. The month that you starve. January is the month that you starve, right? Isn't that what she said?
Yes.
Because it's her cleanse month. Yeah.
Right.
So starving and no alcohol.
Right.
So,
it's dry. She does dry January.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that do that.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't look happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I used to do
okay,
it.
we're toasting for you.
I started.
What was that?
I used to do my cleanse in January, but it made my whole Christmas sad because I would just anticipate January. So now I do it in October. October is a way better month to do it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I started doing yoga, and I'm excited about it, and it's been good so far.
It's awesome.
Well, I lost my workout group, so I have a brand new workout group, and I'm just getting started. But my leader of my old workout group, she moved, and great things happened for her family. They had a new promotion, and so they had to move, and so I lost my workout group. So I'm one of these statistics. So get healthier was part of it, and then also time management was another one that was a biggie for New Year's resolutions. So how to budget time, and then this one made me laugh. Have more sex was on there. And right underneath that was find a partner.
I love that that's the order. The priority is the oh, whoops.
Yeah. So find a partner to have sex with, and then
I can't wait to tell my husband.
So I gotta tell you, this tells you what an what an app person I am. I'm looking at that read more, and my first impulse was to click on it. Because whenever you're in an app and it's been, the text has been truncated, it says read more.
Read more. It's not a link. Just statistics.
Oh my goodness.
That's hilarious. So going along with New Year's resolutions is some tips about, don't be hard on yourself. So I think that's the biggest thing. And one of the best ways that I have found to incorporate New Year's resolutions, and I'm not sure if Anne is out there in the audience, so she could tell me where I got this from, but it's just been one of the things that I say now. So this is what I do, is how I incorporate a new goal or habit. And so instead of saying, oh, well, I have to eat better now, it's just like, oh, well, it's Monday, I have to eat better. Or it's Monday or Tuesday, I just work out on these days. And so if I say, this is what I do, then it makes it easier to not dread that activity.
Well, it's also a statement. It's not like I want to do. It's like, I'm doing this, right?
Exactly.
And I think a lot of that is just a mental mindset, right? It's your mindset of, I've committed to this. This is part of who I am. This is part of what I'm going to be doing. So yeah.
And I got that from some book, and I don't know what book that came out of, but part of that read more. So I read it from one of the books, and I really do. It like totally helps me. And then accountability groups. So you want to suffer together.
So important.
Yeah. Bring a buddy along.
Yeah.
And then if you have a reward in the beginning of your goal, it helps you know where you're going or know when you achieve it. So if you say in the very beginning, if we're going to talk about getting healthier, if you're going to say in the very beginning, then my goal is to cut out, excess white sugar. So if you make that goal, then it's easy to be able to say, my goal was to do that for this month. And at the end of the month, you go, hey, I did it. And so having a clear plan and path as to where you're going helps you to know when you've achieved it.
Definitely. And also celebrating those little wins, even at the end of the day, right? So after I've done my yoga in the morning, now I'm doing it, I write about it. So I'm journaling too. And it was cool because the yoga instructor actually recommended that to document, like, how do you feel? What how's your body feel before you start? What is your body feeling while you're doing it? And then how does your body feel after? And actually documenting that, in a few days, even today, I was able to do more than I was able to do, a couple of days ago. It really helps you to see your progress, and it makes you feel really good, and you want to keep doing it.
Oh, that's a great great way to look back and see, yeah, it really does make me feel better. After the workout is my favorite part.
Our trainer tells us to journal, and in our case, because of the style of workout that we do, we journal the reps, you know? So it's really kind of cool to see at the end of, well, a month, or the coolest thing is at the end of a year, like how many push-ups did you do for a year?
Right.
That's cool.
That's big.
So all the reps, yeah, it's really cool. And you keep a journal, and then, yeah.
Well, in this new workout group, they did a fit test in the beginning. And so they're like, you know, look back at that later to see where your new abilities are. And so we'll do a fit test at the end of the month. And really they were saying, you know, in 6 months, that's whenever you really see the biggest difference. But that goes along with your journaling.
Right.
Yes, that's awesome. Ours is every 11 weeks. The trainer does this anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, that's cool. I think journaling is awesome.
Yeah,
no, it is. And I think the other New Year's resolution that I'm doing now is to just do it. Right. So I can tend to be a procrastinator, and that goes back to the time management. Right. So instead of thinking, oh, well, I need to do that, I just do it. I say, you know what, there's no better time than the present. And I just pick up the phone and make the appointment, you know, that kind of thing. So
that goes back to like the tip one. It's like, this is what I do.
So right. No, it does. Yeah. But I mean, even if you have things that are not part of your regular routine, like I had to go get a mammogram. Sorry, guys. And so I was way past due. And so I thought that was my to-do. So I just picked up the phone. I went and did it. It's done. I don't have to worry about it for another year. But it's one of those things that I would just put off and off and off because I was so busy. And so now when I have things like that where I need to make an appointment or whatever, I just pick the phone and get it done. And it takes 2 seconds and I cross it off my list, which is great.
Yep, just get it done.
Yep. Cool. Let's talk about scheduling. Now that we've talked about
time management.
Yep. Oh, time management. Sorry, I'm jumping.
Okay. So you know, this is one of those New Year's resolutions. So this is like so exciting. I'm like giddy. And so the drum roll of the app comparison. Oh. So what we did is Heather and I both looked at the calendar apps that we're using for scheduling, and we said, hey, this is the one that I use. Oh, well, this is the one that I use. And we noticed that we had a difference in what was important to us. And so it made us stop and look at our calendar apps, and we want to share that with you. So here's this amazing side-by-side comparison that we're going to dig into.
Absolutely. And can I just stop for a minute? Because we have some really amazing comments in that chat. So Jana Lovejoy is just mentioning that Mel Robbins' 5-second rule. I read that book, Mel. I'm calling Jana Mel. Sorry. I read that book, Jana, and that's a great one. And that's the whole premise of that, doing it right now, is to just count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go do it. It's done. You're over. You move on with your life and you end up being more productive. So thank you for sharing that. So awesome. And then Dawn is sharing, Yoda said what? Do you know, Liz, what Yoda said? There is no try.
There's no try.
There is no try. There is only do or do not.
Yes.
Yes.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if Yoda says do it, then it's do it. Good. Right? Go do it.
Anybody else have a Yoda Christmas ornament?
I do. And so we have like a little tree and we have little Yoda ornaments. And then my husband's a huge Star Wars fan. And so we have light up ornaments that are from Hallmark. And so we get one every year.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, we have some, we have different sized Yodas.
Wow.
Yeah. So with our app comparison, oh my gosh. So one of the things that Heather and I looked at was I use Calendly and Heather uses Acuity. And so Acuity, Heather's going to talk about, and then I'm going to talk about Calendly. And one of the things with Calendly is it does not have a phone app, but what I did do is on my phone, because I wanted to be able to access it quickly, is I did that thing where you go out on your phone, Google search, and then you can paste that on your screen top, so that way it looks like it's an app and I can get right into it. So I kind of had a workaround, but it does not, just in case you're looking, it doesn't have a Google or iPhone, an Android or an iPhone app. And then the web conferencing integration, both of the apps have that, but they're both paid. And then both of the apps have the email and text notification, and the same thing, email's free, text you have to subscribe to. And then the multiple appointment types, I was trying to scroll to my page. The multiple appointment types, Calendly, you have to pay to have more types. Only one comes with it. And then Acuity, it's all free. You have several different appointment types, Heather.
You have a lot. Yeah, you have multiple appointment types with the free version.
And then the big thing for me was the calendar integrations, and that's free with Calendly, where you have to have the paid version with Acuity.
That's right.
Then the embedded scheduler link, that's free with Calendly, and Acuity, you have to pay for that. And then you can use that with your on your website or your email signature line. We're going to look at both of those. And then the payment integration. So both of those are paid. And then Acuity has a few more offerings as far as being able to use, in addition to just Stripe and PayPal, Square and Braintree and Authorize.net. And then the price is different.
Yeah, their pricing model is completely different. So with Calendly, you pay per user. So they have the free plan, which is one user. And then as you move up, you can add multiple users, but you're paying per user. With Acuity, the lowest price plan is $15 and it goes up to $50 a month, but that's from unlimited users. So if I have a large staff that needs access to it, depending on the features that I need, really it's the features that drive the price rather than the number of users.
Right. So with Calendly, if you had 4 or more users, then it would be definitely worth price-wise to use Acuity.
Right. Yeah, because it definitely is. I feel like Acuity is much more feature-rich scheduler. When you go through and compare feature for feature, it definitely has, more payments, more payment providers that you can choose from, the calendar integrations. There's more flexibility. And I think in styling your page, you can add different colors to your scheduler page. You can add your logo, things like that.
Which I just wanted a way for my clients to be able to stop saying, hey, I need an appointment, and I'd have to go and look at my calendar. I'd have to go and look at different openings. And so this eliminated it. And for me, it's free. So I'm going to go ahead and click over to the next screen that says, I chose Calendly. And so the reason that I chose Calendly is I'm okay with paying for technology. I'm a big apps user. And so I'm a big subscriber to a lot of apps. And sometimes I want to find a free version if it's just a little need that I have. And that's where Calendly fit in, is I had this need of wanting to be able to give my clients a way to schedule time with me without it taking time for them to pick a time slot and then me to go plant that on my calendar. With Calendly, for the free version, I was able to have my calendar integration, and that's free with the Calendly app, and it's able to have an integration with Google Calendar, with Outlook, iCloud, and Office 365. So if you're using one of those, it's free to integrate. And what it can do is it can see all of the appointments that you have available, all the spots that you have available, and then you can set some parameters. So that way you're not scheduling on top of events. And then there's an email notification, and then that link to be able to embed in your email or your website. You get that for free. And then it's easy to set up your meeting types. So with the free version, you just get one type, but you can put in the parameters and you can set the wording. And then I created a workaround for the Zoom integration. So the Calendly version for the Zoom integration is actually a paid subscription, but I'll show you what I did to work around it, so that way it stayed free for me. So the Calendly booking an appointment. So with my link, I've got the ability to come over here and say on my signature, my email signature, click here to schedule a meeting. And if somebody uses that link to schedule a meeting, up pops my Calendly link. And so they're able to, right from my signature line or from the website, open up this screen and then select a day, and then it generates times that I'm available. And then the Calendly multiple appointment types. So here I'm able to put in different types of appointments if I, different types of appointments and different types of appointment links. And with my free version, I only have the 60-minute version active. And then I can go inside of that and I can put in my parameters of when people can book, how long, what's the duration, and then the time zone. And then I can also say, because it's integrating with my Google Calendar, how often do I want to book these appointments? So do I need 30 minutes in between is what I said here. I want to book it with 30 minutes in between so I can go and maybe have a snack or a bathroom break or maybe a phone call. And then I only want to do a max of 3 appointments per day. And then I have buffers. So I can put these little buffers in between my appointment types. And then what happens is once somebody books an appointment with me, they get an email notification that's automated. And so do I. I get a notification saying that somebody has booked. And what it looks like is on the left, I've got the invite email that's sent out automatically. And then if they cancel, then there's also an email that's sent out to both of us saying that that event has been canceled. And I can cancel it, or my client can cancel it. And then here's my workaround for Zoom. So what I did was, in the location, instead of putting in their GoToMeeting or just leaving it blank because I was using the free version, I actually went inside of my Zoom. And if you go and look inside of your Zoom, what you see is you have a personal meeting ID with your paid version of Zoom. And so I just took that meeting ID and I plopped it into the location. And so now, anytime that somebody books an appointment with me, they automatically get a Zoom meeting that's generated as well. So there's no work. So all we have to do is I just open up my Google Calendar. I see that appointment sitting on my calendar, and the Zoom link is also embedded in that email. But if I did the free version, you don't have to do that little workaround. You just put in your Zoom username and password, and it syncs them automatically. And there's one little tip that I want to show. So I don't know if you've ever had a calendar invite and you had 2 different ways to join a meeting. And so maybe you've got a Zoom invite, and then you also have a Google Hangouts invite. And so this can get really confusing, because what happens is G Suite says, we're going to go ahead and turn on anytime that we see that there's more than one attendee inside of a event, it automatically generates this Google Hangout invite. So let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. So here's an example of an email that was sent out. And so it's got the where to meet is the Zoom location. And then it's also got the join meeting info. And Heather, have you seen this before too, where it just automatically?
Yes, I have. And I think this is a great workaround. This is great. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize they can do that.
Yes, so turn it off. So
yeah.
These next steps, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to just turn it off, so that way you don't have to worry about this being a notification that confuses your attendees. So you go inside of your the administrator account for your Gmail, so or G Suite, and then you go into your calendar. So you go to the apps, and then you go to the G Suite, and then you go into calendar. And inside of calendar, you've got the click share settings, and then you just turn it off. And so let me show you, here's the steps to do it. So there's the PDF that you can download if you want to know the steps. And then also down here in the middle of my screen, it says, just turn it off. So I unclicked it, save that setting, and then no longer will it try to generate that additional meeting spot. And then Heather?
Yeah.
I'm just going to hand it over to you, because you chose something entirely different.
Well, are you going to do you want to just drive the deck? And
you tell me.
Yeah, why don't you drive the deck?
Sure.
And that sounds great. So I chose Acuity Scheduling, and I pay for it. I'm lucky. I got grandfathered in at $10 a month for forever. So now it's $15 a month. And really the thing that drove me to, pick it over Calendly, because I looked at both when I was selecting a scheduler app, was at the time, Calendly did not support the Zoom integration. And so I also knew that I was going to be offering classes in my firm. And so Acuity has the ability to have offer group live classes and have multiple people register for that. And I felt like that was something that I definitely wanted in my scheduling app. It has the ability to require payment before booking. So I wanted to it's easy when you have a scheduling app to have a lot of people book you, and sign up for free advice when you're busy in your day. And, that was something I wanted to avoid. And so I always offer a free 15-minute appointment on my calendar. But if somebody wanted to book, an hour training or an hour consultation, I wanted to make sure they paid me for that first, so that I didn't show up and get stood up, and that would help me to reduce any no-shows. And so I really liked the fact that I would be able to have a payment required before somebody was able to schedule with me for some of those appointments. Now, one of the things I love about Acuity is I can also create individual coupon codes for my clients. So some of my clients that I work with regularly, they have a coupon code. They can go in and schedule a 1-hour consultation with me, and use their coupon code so they don't have to put in their billing information. And then the other option I have is I have private. I can come up with private events. I can create private events that have a unique URL that then I can give to my client. And those don't have a price associated with it. And when they click on that link, it will bring them directly to my scheduling page, and they'd be able to book that for no cost. But those aren't public. Those are private events that are not shared through the Acuity app. It has an integration with Zoom, MailChimp, Pipedrive, and Zapier. Those are all apps that I use. So that was a huge driver. Calendly also integrates with Zapier. I'm not sure about the others. I don't think it has as many integrations it definitely doesn't have as many integrations as Acuity Scheduler, but it does have that Zapier integration. So you can do some pretty cool stuff with Calendly too. Intake forms was another big driver for me. So I wanted to get a little more information. If people are booking appointments with me, I want to know what they want to talk about, and I have some questions for them. And then I also want them to be able to send me documents if I need to look at particular documents before we meet. And so Acuity has the ability to create these customized intake forms, and they can even upload documents to you so that you're getting all the information you need before that initial appointment. It syncs with multiple calendars. So I have a lot of calendars. I have calendars for family. I have calendars for my business. I have calendars for organizations that I work with. And so the ability to have it look at all my calendars when scheduling is really important to me, because what was happening is people wouldn't see my family's calendar that has doctor's appointments on it. Acuity scheduling looks at all of my calendars, and that really helps me it prevents me from getting double booked. And then it has that embedded form on my website, and I love those custom links for each type of appointment. You can go ahead and advance. So those are my favorite things. This is what the appointment calendar looks like. It's right inside Acuity Scheduling. So I can book an appointment here. Typically, I'm not doing that. Sometimes I'll come in and I'll block. If you see at the top in the middle, right up here, it says block. I can actually block off time. So if I'm on vacation, taking a day off, I have a special project that I want to work on that I need to block time off of, I can do that. I could also block off time right from my Google Calendar, because Acuity will not allow people to schedule over any calendar events on my Google Calendar. So that's really helpful for me, because I'm pretty much all over the place. And so if I'm in Google Calendar, I know I can block time off there. If I'm in Acuity Scheduling, I can block it off here. It just gives me a lot of flexibility. So that's the appointment calendar. You get that branded scheduling page. So you can choose change the color, add your logo, lots of different options here. So I really like the flexibility that I had with that. I can create the scheduling page on my website. I can put it in other places if I wanted to as well. And there's also a scheduling link to Facebook. So I can have people actually schedule book appointments from my Facebook page as well. So this is just a picture of my embedded scheduling page on my website. And what I like about it is, if you go back to that screen for just a second, if you look at the categories, so we have the initial meeting and training sessions. If you were to click on the training session, it actually shows the different types of appointments that they can sign up for.
Nice.
Yeah. You can control your availability. So I can set my hours of availability and my limits, just like you were able to do in Calendly. The other really cool thing is up at the top, if you look at that third sentence in the middle, it says look busy. You can hide 20% of your available appointments. So I saw Alicia had pointed out that, what was happening was somebody would give up an appointment. It was immediately filled, and she was relying on that time in order to work on her business. And so this is helpful, because if you hide 20% of your appointments, you know that 20% of your time is going to be preserved, and you'll be able to work on your business during that time. So I liked that as well. So
And you know, one of the things that I do with my calendar app is I have times that are just, you know, set aside for empty time in the day.
Yeah.
And so I block off time inside of Calendly as well. And they've got the Look Busy is also a feature.
They do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Jim's asking, does it have a mobile app? It absolutely does. It's not full featured. So there's certain things that I can't do in the mobile app, but it does have a mobile app. I can add an appointment. I can make some changes in there. I honestly don't use the mobile app very often. Just don't really need to, because I'm usually putting things right into my Google Calendar. You can add different types of services. You can add add-ons. So I do Zapier classes. So one of the nice things about Acuity is I can publish a Zapier class, allow people to register for it, and then I can give them the option to book an hour of training, one-on-one training as an add-on, kind of an upsell for my practice. So that's worked out really well. Some people take advantage of that, some people don't. But it gives me an option to have some add-ons to my schedule. And that's just the client intake forms I was talking about. You can get pretty fancy with those. And then you can select which appointment types they should be associated with, which is pretty cool. And then we talked about the sync with the multiple calendars, just a screenshot. You can just blast through that because I think I've already talked about that. Okay. Your customized email notifications, and you can have a different email notification for any one of your different types of appointments. And there's tons of integrations.
Yeah, there are. Yep.
Tons of integrations. It integrates with a lot of things, and it integrates with Zapier. It has webhook functionality. So if you're a more advanced integrator and you know how to use webhook technology, you can use those webhooks and put them into pretty much anything. So, and those can be triggers for that. So that's what we're using. What do you guys use? What do you guys use in your practice? I see that Alicia's using Acuity. What else do you guys do? I know there's other ones, like Schedule Once is one I've heard of. There's a bunch of them out there. Amanda's using Calendly. And what do you love about it? What do you love about your calendar app? You can share that here in the chat. You can share that on the Facebook comments, but I'd love to hear what everybody else is using and why they love it.
Yeah.
That would be great. So
it does look like most people are using Acuity and Calendly.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
And Alicia's saying that her iCloud, she's got it integrated with both calendars, her Google Calendar and her iCloud calendar.
Yeah, that's smart. I use Google Calendar on my iPhone, so it's synced that way. So I don't have to do that, but I could have done it that way. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah.
And Calendly is easy to set up. So Amanda's saying it's just simple. And I have two accounts. Because I wanted to try them both out. I did, and I have a third one too. So I did go ahead and try out several different calendar apps to see which thing fit me best. And the need that I had was scheduling meetings. So it needed to be able to talk to Zoom and then be able to integrate with my Google Calendar. So
and if you're not using a scheduling app in your practice, at least sign up for a free version, because it really is life-changing. I saved so much time using the calendar, the scheduling apps, that time that I used to spend sending 8 million emails back and forth trying to figure out when everyone is available. Now I just say, here, go schedule yourself, and I don't have to worry about it. So it really is a huge time saver, and the free versions are a great place to start.
Yep, I agree.
I'm ready for some LivePlan.
I know. So making more money. So going back to our New Year's resolutions, and the number one was making more money. So one of the ways in our accounting firm to make more money is to implement value pricing. And I love it, Kathy, that you're doing a lot with Practice Ignition. So
with Practice Ignition, no.
Who are you partnering with, or who are you doing a lot of
training with?
Yes.
Mark Wickersham.
Oh, okay. All right. So that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. In fact, I just got off a webinar with Mark Wickersham. Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. I spent about a year with him, and mostly the year was because we're on totally different time zones, but it really was a ton of work creating Mark's famous brochures that he does. So we created one for strategic advising services, and then we train to it, and there's a lot of training involved, but yeah, it's great.
So, I mean, those types of advisory services, that is where you can start adding more value. And so being able to know how to use LivePlan is exactly what we are getting ready to share with you, that Kathy has been a big part of developing this new program. So strategic advisor is what we keep hearing in our industry. How do I become a strategic advisor? What does it really mean to be a strategic advisor? And so really the biggest thing with being a strategic advisor is setting those goals with your client, helping them to identify where they want to go, and then making a plan in order to get them there, and then making sure that those goals are attainable. So strategies for being able to reach those goals. And a lot of times, one of the things that you're doing is just making sure that they're staying on track. And so going through a method that helps you to identify areas that might be a problem or might be an opportunity for them to correct, that's part of being that strategic advisor. So those KPIs, being able to measure the data and going into the matrix and being able to see where are their sales coming from, who are their best customers, being able to identify those key areas are areas for you to be able to add more value to your services. So with that, I would like to introduce LivePlan. And I would like to say that Kathy is here, and I'm going to also tell you a little bit about LivePlan. Has got this 7-course program that she's going to show us what that curriculum entails, and then being able to show you how to be able to price that program, and then what are the key elements to being able to talk to whenever you have that client. So a lot of times it's just where to start. So Kathy, we are super happy that you're here. So Kathy Gregory, she is the Director of Strategic Development and Engagement at LivePlan. So here's our toast to you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Glad that you're here.
I can't wait to go home and have that drink. I am at work, and actually that doesn't prohibit me from having champagne, but I don't have it here.
Well,
but I have it
like
on the ready at home. I can't wait to have it at home.
I know. I'm excited. It's champagne and fruit. So those of you who were here earlier were hearing what was inside of them. And so now you can see the recipe here. So we've just got some bubbly. So you've got your champagne and then some fruit, and you can either just freeze your fruit, or you can do what Heather and I did, was we froze some fruit juice, and then I'm putting it inside of my bubbly right now.
Mine's a little bit, it's a little melted now because I put it in a half an hour ago. But I'm sure it's delicious. So
I bet you now it's just nice and cool.
Oh, look at that. That's fun.
Wow. Now
I can't wait to have mine. I have strawberry puree frozen at home. And so I'm gonna take a photo of that and I'll tweet that out. I can't wait to go home and have it with my husband.
Well, I got lucky and had star fruit at home. We do snack plates in the wintertime. And so it's cheeses and crackers and
that sounds wonderful.
So star fruit is like, it's kind of a treat. So.
Cheers. Annie is saying cheers. So cheers to everyone. Yes. Everybody who has a drink. Cheers.
Cheers.
And Happy New Year.
Oh, here's what I have.
Ooh, yummy. Ooh. And I've got
That's
passion
really
fruit
good.
there, so it's just a little bit tart.
Yeah. I used grape juice and actually lemonade. And it's actually delicious.
And did you say Annie is on this webinar? Or
yes, she is. Annie is on the webinar.
Oh, that's so fun. Okay.
Hi, Annie.
Poor Annie cannot toast with us today.
That's right. She's got her dry January.
Oh, she's saying hi. Oh, that's so fun. All right. Well, go have some Whole30 thing that you make from scratch. If you make your champagne from scratch, I guess you still can't have it. So how do I drive the deck? I'm so sorry.
Sure. So I'm just going to stop sharing, and I am going to pass the presenter. Actually, if you go down to the bottom, I stopped sharing. If you go down to the bottom of Zoom, you see that little green briefcase, and you can just select it to start sharing.
Oh, but I don't have the deck. I would have had to have the deck up myself to do that.
Well, right. But now you do have those slides.
Well, can you drive the deck, Liz?
Yeah, just go. I can just tell you to advance. I'm so sorry to pause it on this, but I never had the PowerPoint. I just had the PDF version. So I guess I messed up. Sorry.
That's okay. There's no mess up here.
But I can just tell you to advance. That's okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
Let's do that.
You're going to be the finger pusher. You're the finger pusher. The
I'm good with that.
Okay. So we're going to get through this quickly. So the notion of advisory services as we teach it, so advisory services is talked about in lots of different ways, right? I hear at conferences and I hear on blogs I read and in trade publications, a wide variety of things are talked about. And so what I mean when I say advisory services is really strategic planning with the client. It's strategic planning, and then it is meeting ideally monthly. Quarterly works, but monthly is better, to look at the plan that you built, measure it against the actuals that are coming in, and look for gaps. And what I mean by a gap is you should have a key performance indicator across the spectrum of the business. About 8 to 10 of them work great. And sometimes you don't even need 8 to 10. If a business, for instance, doesn't have AR and AP, then you don't track AR and AP days. But somewhere between 4 and 8 to 10 metrics, depending on the size of the business. And every one of those metrics ties back to something going on operationally in that business. And what you're looking for are gaps between the plan and the actual. And everywhere there's a gap, then you're looking back to the operation and what is going on in that operation that isn't working right to meet that where the gap exists. If there is no gap, if they're meeting their plan, great. Now's the time you set stretch goals. And that's really what the work is. But that work is involved. And the most important thing for you is how are you going to make money doing that? You cannot do one-off work for every client all the time. So if you advance the slide. Great. So now you are faced with this problem of, I understand what that work is and I really want to do it, but how do I make a system to do that work? Because not only do you have to think about, is the market ready for that work? Is your client ready for that work? But are you ready for that work? How are you going to make sure that you have the resources that you need? And how are you going to make sure that even if you have the resources, that your folks are trained, that you are trained, and that for every step along the way, every deliverable that you have, even if it's an internal thing that you're doing, everyone is trained up and you have all the resources. That work is called capacity planning. And it's important. If you're going to deliver something big like strategic advising services, you have to do some capacity planning. So advance the slide. So the answer is you make it a system. And there's a couple of things that are important here. You have to think about your internal system, what that is. Make sure you assign all your resources to it. And resources are generally people and the work that they do, and the software and the other tools that you use to provide the service. So you're going to make that system, and then you're going to go find the software to work with that system. It is not, I don't think, a good idea to, even though it's fun to look at lots of software and see who does what and what's fun and what's better. Please don't go look at software first and marry your system around the software product that you think is awesome. Because generally speaking, people hiccup a lot when they do that, and then they stumble and then they're frustrated. Develop the system that you love, that marries to your skill sets and the thing and what you want to produce for your clients, and then go find the software tool sets that support that system and plug them in. And I love that Heather does system integration. That's what that is. It's coming up with the system and then finding the right software tool sets to plug and play into that system. And now you can deliver a whole system, and you can advance. So notionally, well, not notionally, overall, at a million-foot level, this is what we're talking about: a system for strategic advising that is in phases. The first 4 phases happen one time, and then the ongoing phase happens ideally monthly, but quarterly can work too. And the first 4 phases are a phase where you kick off with your client, you do some planning, and then modeling, building a financial forecast, and then advising. And the next slides I'm going to talk about the difference between those phases and the purpose of them. But on this slide, I just want you to see that what we have here is a system that has a phase of work, and that's in the black letter there. So kickoff, plan, model, build. At the end of each phase is a work product, and that's what you see in the colored blocks. Your advising plan, your business model, your growth patterns, your financial forecast, those are your work products. And those are actually tangible things that you can touch and feel. Those things are important because when you are working on a process over time, there are two things that matter. One is the integrity of the process, and that's about your quality. So if you make sure that before you move into the next phase of a thing, that you have produced the deliverable, now you know, if you don't have an advising plan, for instance, then you know that your kickoff didn't go completely. And that keeps your quality high. Does that make sense? So as you work through a whole system, it's important to have a work product that acts as a gate between one phase and the next phase to keep your quality where it needs to be. The other reason that it's important is that clients need deliverables. Your process needs a deliverable. And so these act as both things. So now we have our deliverables, and then the advising phase is at the end. And if you want to advance through to the next slide, we'll talk briefly about what these, these 5 different, excuse me so much. I'm so sorry about that. I think it's the sugar in this thing I just drank. Okay, so the kickoff phase is doing 3 things that are super important. You are defining the offering for your client, you are setting your client's expectations, and you are hooking them. This is sort of the phase that's before the actual work and just after what you might have done with selling. You might not have sold them entirely on strategic advising. This kind of work is not compliance-based work, and the sales cycle is longer and it is more involved. And you're kind of, in a way, always selling when you're doing advisory services, because even if they've bought your service, you're upselling then into another thing, right? So kickoff meeting is super important for taking this time to say, I'm going to show you, Mr. Client, what it looks and feels like to work with me. I'm not going to get there yet, but I'm going to show you. We're going to model it.
And, you know, I'm just going to add to that, Kathy. This is where I think that the LivePlan training that you came up with is so powerful, because this is where you help with what that looks like.
Yeah, and I'm going to show them a sample of our resource guide for kickoff. Yeah, we'll just get through these 5 slides real quick, and then I'm going to show them that, because
sure.
it is the soft skills of this work that I think really matter the most. So if you wanted, so now we're at the end. So if you want to go back to the planning slide.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought you said go through it real quick.
So this is kickoff. So then after you do this kickoff meeting, which it takes about an hour, and then there's some additional work, then you're going to move into a phase of planning. And now this is where the client would have, yes, purchased your advisory services, or maybe you set your service up to offer a free planning meeting. Maybe you do that, but that's up to you. And you learn that as you go through our training program. You learn how to make those choices. But in planning is where you decide, where you learn from your client what their goals are, what they sell, how do they sell it, and you can advance to the next slide. Then these next 2 slides are a phase that kind of go hand in hand. There's this first phase model where you're going to look at their historical actuals and determine what their forecast might be. Because now you've done the planning, but before you build a forecast, you need to look at what their patterns are and see what they've done over time, and can does their historical data support the goals that they want? And then advance the slide. And then we move into build, where you build the full financial forecast, the full P&L, cash flow, and balance sheet. And then that ends the one-time work. That all happens one time, and then it doesn't happen again. And then if you want to advance the slide on to advise, then this is the notion of having this monthly meeting with a client. And then advance to the final slide. And then you get to give a high five every month. That's part of the whole system.
Or a virtual high five.
To the final slide, and then you can, after this final slide, you can give me control, and I'll show them the kickoff.
Okay.
Yeah, and then this is just a reminder that there's this whole process in LivePlan. If you want to look to that key, you can see each section of LivePlan is a tab, and then we're showing you what tabs of LivePlan you work with in each of those phases. But this is just a pictorial to represent that, yes, you really are working through the whole product in this phase of work. And then I think the next slide is probably the end. And then you want to kick out of that, and I'll show them the kickoff meeting.
Sure. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing and let you share.
Yeah, great.
And I would just say, somebody was asking if they could see one of the slides. I had posted in the chat window a link to the slide deck. So if you would like to, you don't have to take pictures with your phone. You can actually go download the entire slide deck just by clicking on that link. And actually all of the slide decks for all of the Appy Hour episodes are at that link.
Okay. So, and can you tell me, do I have about 5 minutes left or no?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, great. So we have developed a training, well, I have developed a training program for you. There's LivePlan, the software, which looks like this. This is LivePlan up. It has all the tabs that you just saw that key to, pitch, plan.
Oh, wait, we're not looking at your screen yet.
Oh.
Yeah. So we don't quite see you yet.
Oh, sorry. I have to hit share screen. So sorry.
That's okay. While you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm going to put that there's a 50% off coupon code that I'm going to put inside of the chat, because I think it was a last minute add to the deck. So I'm not sure if it's in the handout, Heather.
I don't know. I did the handout about 15 minutes before well, maybe no, more like 45 minutes before we went on.
Yeah, I don't think it's in there.
Okay.
So I'll add it in the chat.
Okay.
And we can send a follow-up email, I suppose, to people with that. But so let me frame this for you. There's LivePlan, the software, and that's the tool that you would use to do all of this work. If you chose to use another software, that's fine. Remember, I said I'm a very strong believer that the system matters. So the system that I built works with other software, but you do need to have some type of dashboarding tool. I think it's best to have some type of tool that allows you to show benchmarking data. And then you need some type of tool that allows you to do some lean planning and has some type of overview of a business. So if you have other tools to do that, that's fine, and this system will work with those tools. So this is LivePlan. Then there is LivePlan Method, the business process, right? And that's what I just talked notionally about. This resource guide is one of about 25 resources that are in our training program. And that's what the coupon code is for, this training program that we've developed that teaches you LivePlan Method from start to finish, soup to nuts, and how to do all of the tasks. And it comes with things like this resource guide, which gets you through the kickoff meeting. This is an agenda for the meeting, plus all the prep work that you would do, and even scripting and things you would say in the kickoff meeting. So, if you've never done this type of work, these are soft skills that take time to build, and we recognize that. And it's not something necessarily in accounting school that you learn. So the work of strategic planning is unique, and you have to learn it. So this kickoff meeting resource guide is an example of one of the guides that are in our training. And what I'll do is show you how to get to that training and explain what happens in the training when you get there. Because I don't want to talk all through the resource guide and then you don't know how to get to the training. So let me show you that real quick. And if I have a couple more minutes, I can get deeper into the resource guide. So the training is on our website here, liveplan.com. For accountants, it's /strategic advisors. And this is our world for accountants. If you click on the training tab, you're going to get to, with Zoom, sometimes with Zoom and with video and other things running, it just, things
bogs down. Well, I love it
that
you're showing that. So we're on the LivePlan page and clicking on training. Okay, cool.
And training. So now online training, and if you click gain access, it will take you to the landing page for the training. And here you can watch a video of the preview of the training so you can understand everything that's in it. And then there are also slides that talk about each course. But what we do is take you from start to finish and offer training on the business process itself, and then LivePlan software training that marries to that business process, and then all of the resources. So there's meeting agendas and scripting. There are emails that you use with your client for not only working with them in LivePlan, but also selling. I have a series of sales emails to use before you're even in LivePlan. And then emails that you would use when you're eventually working with them in the product. So this really is kind of like your advisory practice in a box, and the training covers all of that. And it is self-guided, so it exists on a platform called Bridge, and you do it at your own pace. Once you pay the fee, then you just have access. You actually have access for a year to the portal, and you download the resources, and then the resources are yours. And that's how it works.
I love this, Kathy. This is such a great offering to our community for, accounting professionals and bookkeepers and anybody who wants to take their practice to the, to the next level. Because we've been hearing that in the industry for a long time, that we need to be stepping into this role And so many people just don't even know where to start, and this gives them a place to start. So bravo.
And I do promise you that the business process is specific. A huge part of my background is in business process design. I'm not an accountant by trade, so maybe that should be said. I'm not an accountant. I do business process design, I do strategic advising, I do financial forecasting and strategic planning. And so all of that experience came to this. So this business process is probably even Six Sigma ready if you're using Six Sigma. It's that detailed.
It's great. And you know what, I've started the program and gone through, and it gets gradually harder. And I like that. So you start and it's kind of like this intro. How are other accountants using it? How are other businesses using it, clients, and what changes and differences it's made in their firms. And then it goes into how to be that type of advisor, how to be the strategic advisor and offer guidance to your clients. And then it goes into in-depth how to use LivePlan. So I'm thankful that you've got this for our community to use.
Yeah, we recognize the need. It would frustrate me going to conference after conference and hearing a lot of advice being given to accountants about how to, be an advisor, but nobody was getting very specific on it. And I think, that makes sense. It's a new thing for accountants to be doing. And so that it isn't super well defined makes complete sense. But if you're going to do strategic planning, then you do have to bite off a certain scope of work and deliver that scope of work.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And so Heather, I'm going to stop sharing your.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Can you put up your deck again? Is it still already up? If not, I can put mine up.
It is. Let's just let you do yours.
Okay. That works.
Okay.
Yeah. So we just have a couple minutes, and this will only take a couple of seconds. So just give me.
Great. I love it that we're sharing this epic fail. And I put while you're getting that, Heather, I put the 50% off coupon code inside of the Facebook chat and inside of.
Perfect. I did the same thing.
Chat. Perfect.
Well, since we share the same brain, yeah. So we both did it. So it's there a bunch of times, people. So yeah, absolutely. And I just want to say, Kathy, I've used LivePlan with a couple of my clients in very much in the way that your plan represents it to through your program. And clients are wildly excited about it, and it's really benefited them. And it's amazing to see your clients grow and meet those goals, and how fulfilling that is, not only for them, but for us. I mean, it's just so rewarding. So
there's no better work. There is no better work than helping a small business client grow their business. And
absolutely. And to see those gains and actually see measurable gains is just, it's there. You're right. There is nothing like that.
No. And sorry, if I could just say this one other little thing. Sure. And bringing the data to help them discover, because what I find over and over is the accountants, you're not the one, you don't know all the answers, and neither does the small business owner. But if the accountant brings the data and the small business owner brings the knowledge of what they know is going on, the two of you together make that happen together. It's great.
It is.
It's expertise from different angles.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Two brains are always better than one. Okay.
All right. So our epic fail.
Yes, our epic fail. So last month, everybody, I showed you how we could automate our Christmas cards. And so I showed you a couple of different apps. And one of the apps that I showed you was Postable. And that's the one that I chose for mine. So I sent out 70 cards to some of my customers, my clients, my partners, and they were beautiful. I don't know if I have one here. I got one today and it actually was okay. But what happened was on New Year's Day, I woke up and I was still in bed, and I did the thing you're not supposed to do, especially on New Year's Day, is I grabbed my phone and I started reading my emails. And the first email was from one of my clients. It says, "Dear Heather, thank you so much for the card. It's just got a really odd message." You said, so the card was actually, the message inside, it was my card. It was addressed to my client, and it was actually a condolence message from somebody sending them condolences on someone named Libby. And my heart just sank. And I was like, okay, this is really embarrassing. And I started to kind of get that little flutter. And then I realized, my clients know me, you know, they're going to understand. And so I responded back, and, you know, it turned out that 3 people that I know have gotten messages from other people inside my card. So it's very awkward. If you were one of those people, I apologize. So I felt like that was an epic app fail because they were supposed to get my messages, not somebody else's. And I really feel horrible for the person that was supposed to get that condolence message, because they're getting a nice message that says, thank you for being my friend and partner. So and they have no idea who I am. So that was the epic app fail.
Oh my God.
Right. So luckily I've only heard from 3 people. This is one of the ones that I sent. So I sent a card to Allison Ball. You guys may know Allison. And it was mailed to her. And she sent me a message on Twitter and said, we think we have a problem, Houston. So this is what she got. I'm clearly not Brendan, and she's clearly not Charles. So
oh my God. So there were 2 different messages, a lot of different messages?
There were, well, I only know of 3. So if anybody else got a card from me and it didn't say from me, then you got somebody else's message. I know of 3 people that got the wrong message. So I'm assuming
this is a game now to see how many.
Right, it is. But as you can see, this is an epic fact fail. And Liz and I were talking about it because I was like, well, you know, maybe I would try them again. They were really, first of all, well, I'll get to that slide in a minute, but
also there's a typo in that holidays with an apostrophe.
So that's their typo, not mine.
I know, I'm just saying, like, it's wrong and wrong again. Anyway, sorry.
Right. It's multiply wrong.
This is one that my friend Dan got. So he got a card.
Oh my
Dear Uncle Ronnie.
Yeah.
We love you, Uncle Ronnie and Sherry.
So that was another one that somebody got. And so Postable refunded my entire order. I sent them an email with with images. They were very gracious. They said it was their worst nightmare and that never, ever happens.
Oh my God.
And they refunded my entire order, offered to send out new cards to the affected recipients. And, you know, while it was an epic app fail, and I'm not sure that I'll use their service again, they win for great customer service. They made it right. And for that, I applaud them. And I think I wanted to share this because I think it's important for us to understand that stuff goes wrong, and it is technology. And sometimes things fail. And so we're celebrating apps, we're saying things, but I also wanted to acknowledge the fact that, you know, we do our due diligence and sometimes, you know, stuff happens, right? So I think that this is the best case scenario, you know, response is that they were very responsive to me. They made it right. They cared. And that's really, you know, what makes a great company, even if something, you know, goes wrong. So
I agree. It's like you said, the customer service that, I mean, coming back and saving the day and giving you a full refund, that helps, but would you use them again is the question.
Yeah. And that's a tough one, right? But I think it's important because, you know, I'm not sure. I think the question is, you know, I'm not sure. Because that could have been disastrous. You know, it could have been this is a big one. This is one of those where it could have been a pretty uncomfortable situation. Luckily, the people that got the cards know me well and were kind of got a giggle out of it, but it could have gone. There could be somebody out there that's like, can't stand me now because it said something offensive or whatever. I don't know. So I'll always wonder.
Always wonder. You'll never know. 70 cards went out into the world.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But I think that it was important to share that.
I think it was too. And so we did. And we got a little bit of a giggle out of it. But
definitely. Okay, so next month, moving forward, I am totally excited about next month. So, of course, you can find our episodes on our website, and then inside of Facebook Live, we always post the videos there. But if you want to look back at past sponsors, then you can always go and look at our bar book. And so you'll be able to see now LivePlan will be in our bar book and be able to get additional resources plus that 50% off code. If you didn't grab it from the chat or from Facebook, then I just put it into Twitter. We'll put that on our website as well, so you can have that resource.
Right. And absolutely. And I just also want to I want to tell everybody, I want to do a big thank you out to Murph. So Murph was the judge of our wonderful gingerbread contest. Thank you so much for doing that. Everybody, thank you for participating. We had 3 great winners. There's a blog post out on our website where you can read about those winners and look at their beautiful houses. So huge thank you to that. So
very fun.
Yeah, very fun. So join us next month, February 12th, 4 p.m. Appy Hour. We'll be our sponsors, Notify, and using projects in QuickBooks Online. So we're going to be focusing on the construction industry, contractors, and managing that. So excited about that episode. Kathy, thank you so much. This was awesome.
Yeah.
What a great, this is amazing.
Oh, well, I thank you for your time. I appreciate it. It was my pleasure. It's super fun. You guys are fun.
Well, we're thrilled at what you've created for us. Yeah. So using your engineering brain, you have created an incredible program for us accountants to be able to grasp.
Well, definitely another power tool in our accounting superhero tool belt.
Yeah. I hope it helps. Good. All right. I'm going to go have a drink.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Have a great week. Happy New Year. And we'll see you guys next month.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.